Oh, hi guys, New Apple Times here, welcome to a new video. Yes, as you see, I was using my AirPods Pro, and that is because today we have an AirPods Pro video. In fact, we have the AirPods Pro review. Oops. I've been using them for about a month now, and I'm gonna tell you my impressions about them, what I like about them, what I don't, and yep, so let's go. Okay, so as I said, I've been using this for about a month now, and a little bit more actually, and I have to say that it's not been as great as I thought. I still love them, don't get me wrong. I'll go a little bit more in depth about it, but it's been kind of a love-hate relationship between me and these. So in this review we're going to see a few aspects. We're going to see design and fit, we're going to see sounds, battery, speed, features, of course noise cancellation, transparency mode. We'll touch a lot on those. Well, before I begin, I want to say that this is not going to be a comparison with the first generation AirPods or the AirPods 2. If you want to see that, I did that also, and you can see it here. But yeah, in this one it's going to be more standalone, the AirPods Pro. And yeah, if you want to see the comparison, you can see that video. But yeah, without further ado, let's start with design and fit. Okay, so design and fit, as I said, it's been kind of a long love-hate relationship with this, and design and fit is probably the biggest reason. This, as you see, is way different design than the original AirPods, and they fit more ears, they're more universal, but apparently they're not as good for my ears as the original AirPods were. So yeah, in general I have a hard time adjusting these to my ears, so I put them on, and at first they're okay, but when I've been about an hour listening to music with them, they start to fall off. I am not sure why. If you know it, please you can let me know in the comments why. But yeah, I guess it's just the design of my ears, I don't know really. And actually, you know that you have different ear tips, and I actually do have a different ear tip on each AirPod Pro. I have the S on the left ear and the M on the right ear. So yeah, it's just how I've come about it, because this one tended to fall off a lot, but this one was okay, so I just did like that. And yes, also after a long time using them, they kind of hurt a little bit, not a lot, and it's only sometimes, and they kind of give me a headache. That might be also due to the transparency mode, which we'll talk about more later on. But yeah, not a lot. In general, I'm very happy with them. We'll get more in depth about it later. But yeah, it's just things that I've noticed in general that sometimes happen to me. Also, to know which ear tip is better, you can do the fit test in settings. It will not tell you what ear tip, it will just tell you if there is a good seal or not. And actually I've noticed that what I have told you, that after some time they tend to fall off. At first I put them on, I did the fit test and it was perfect. But after some time I did it again and it told me there wasn't a good seal, so I don't know what's going on there. Also for voice calls, we'll talk more in depth about that later too, but I've noticed it's not possible to wear it with this. To do video calls, for example, with this, because I'm talking or I'm laughing and they're just falling off a lot, because I don't know, when I'm laughing I move my face and my ears and they just tend to fall off. So I've been actually using my old AirPods 1 a lot for video calls. In fact, the battery in this is very bad, and of course they don't have wireless charging. So I've actually been even considering getting the AirPods 2 with wireless charging case, just for voice calls, because I don't like to do voice calls with these. But this is about this, so we'll stick to the AirPods Pro. Now let's talk a little bit about the features that these have. Of course, the main two features are noise cancellation and transparency mode. So when switching between modes, if you have one or both on, you can just press this long press for about a second and it will change, and it will actually do a small sound letting you know that you change from transparency mode to noise cancellation or vice versa. Those are the two modes that you can control with these. However, there are also other options to switch between modes. You can change, as I said, with your earbud. Then you can also ask Siri to change it. You know, you have Hey Siri integrated in here, so you can just say the magic words and it will pop, and you can just say activate transparency mode or noise cancellation and it will do it. Then you can do it on your Apple Watch. So actually when you're playing music, if you go here in the corner and you click, you can see that there's the selection, and also if you scroll down you see your other AirPlay devices. But it's good that you can change on your Apple Watch the switch between modes. And last but not least, from the control center on your iPhone, similar to what you can do on the Apple Watch, you can long press in the volume if you're wearing the AirPods, and you can see the changes here. However, in the iPhone I noticed that I find myself using the player that appears in the control center, in the notification center quite often, and you cannot change it from there, and it's kind of annoying. Especially when that is like the actual place where you switch between AirPlay devices. But yes, also talking about this Hey Siri that's always on when you have the AirPods on, I have to say it's just amazing. I didn't think it would be a deal breaker, but for me it actually is. It's really good. It didn't fail one single time in this month that I've been using it. You say it and it's very good. It's perfect. Works every single time. And actually it also has announced messages with Siri, that when you get a message, Siri will read it to you, and then you can reply, and you don't have to say like Siri reply or anything. You can just talk the reply and it will do it. So it's very good. However, I thought that it was open to third-party messaging apps, but apparently it only works with iMessage so far, so hopefully it will be open soon. Okay, and now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into noise cancellation and transparency mode. First, we'll start with noise cancellation. So, contrary to what I thought, I have to say that noise cancellation is not perfect. It doesn't suppress all the sound that's outside, however, it does do a very good job, especially with the lower tones. Or lower pitches. If it's a higher pitch, it doesn't do such a good job. But apparently I've talked to my father, who's an acoustic engineering, and he said that usually conversations between people are more of a lower pitch, so it will do a better job avoiding those. However, some sounds such as a tap running water is like very high pitch, and you barely notice the noise cancellation with those. However, I have to say that even though it doesn't suppress all the sound at all, as soon as you play a little bit of music, like even at the lowest volumes, you can barely hear anything else. So I think that's great. So I've mainly used it at home because we're on a global pandemic now and there's been quarantine and all that. And it does do a very good job. My father likes to play music very loud, and I wear these, play my music and can't hear anything at all. On the street I haven't tried them so much, however I've gone for a couple walks, and I've gone skating and biking. And biking I went with transparency mode, and it was hell because all I could hear was the wind. And with the skating I used the noise cancellation and it was very good. I could hear nothing. In fact, when I brake with the skates, it does a little bit of sound and I couldn't hear it, and people would look around, look at me like, what just happened here? So very good on the street, I have to say. I haven't been able to test it on an airplane yet. I've seen some other reviews that say that they work very good on airplanes. Haven't been able to test it yet, but hopefully we'll be able to test it soon if the world is fixed. So that's all I have to say about noise cancellation. Now I'll talk a little bit about transparency mode. So this hasn't been as good as I thought either, but I still think it's good enough for two main reasons. First, that if you're playing loud music, it just makes no difference. You have to turn the music down and then turn transparency mode on and you will hear something. So for example, say you're in the supermarket waiting at the line to check out, and then you're playing music, so you have to do is turn down the volume, which you cannot do in the AirPods themselves, by the way. So you have to turn down the volume, then activate transparency mode, and then you will hear the person. So I wish it was there was an option to overhear. So since it's the microphone that's recording it, just play it at a higher volume, and I can overhear it, even if I'm playing the music very loud. That would be very good. Also, speaking of the volume, I found that it's just a little bit too high, and it seems kind of unnatural. So if I have transparency mode on, things just sound higher at a higher volume than they usually are. So it's kind of unnatural, and my brain just kind of doesn't find it natural, and it kind of gives me a headache sometimes, especially if I'm using it for very long. So I really wish Apple put an option where you can customize the volume at which you hear the things in transparency mode. I think that would be great. But yeah, overall I think it's a very good feature and very handy to have in this type of earbuds, especially considering that by design they have some noise cancellation built in and you lose detail from the outside. So I think it's very good to have it. And that's all from the features. Now let's talk a bit of sound. So first off, I want to say that I'm no audiophile, however I do appreciate some good sound. For example, I never play music directly from the iPhone speaker. And yeah, I found that the sound of these are very good. For playing music, it's my best option. Like really an improvement from original AirPods. And I have to say that they have a very good bass, like extraordinarily good, and the highs are decent too. So in general, very good sound. I love listening to music with this, and if I don't use them more it's because of this fit that I have to get my ears used to them, but overall I think they're very good. Next is the battery, and I have to say it's very good, like even better than they announced. So I've often found myself listening to music with noise cancellation on for 3 hours, and when I put them on the case it was still 49%. So it is rated that it has 4.5 hours with noise cancellation or transparency mode on. However, yeah, I found it that it's like that. And I think it's maybe due to the fact that because noise cancellation isolates you from the outside, you don't have to play the music super loud to not hear anything else. So maybe playing the music lower does make the battery last longer. And lastly, what we have to talk is pricing. As you know probably by now, these retail for $250. It's kind of expensive, I have to say. However, if you compare it to the original AirPods or the normal AirPods, it's not that much, especially considering that these have wireless charging bundled in, and this with wireless charging will set you back $200. So I think actually for $50 it's totally worth it to go for these for the noise cancellation and transparency mode. However, if your ear is weird like me and doesn't adjust very good, maybe you're better off with these. However, if you can, which I'm sure most people can't, but if you can, the ideal thing would be to have both. If not, if you have the chance to go to an Apple store to try these, now with the current times it's gonna be hard that they will let you try them on. But if you have the chance to go try these, I recommend you go, or if you have the chance to try it from a friend or stuff. But yeah, overall I really like these. For listening to music, I think they are the best. They're also very portable, it's pretty much the same size, can really good fit into a pocket or a small pocket in your bag or something, and they're very good. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to tell you. As usual, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate and leave it down below in the comments and I will do my best to answer. Also, if you're debating on whether to buy these or these, go check out my video here in the card for a full comparison between these. Also, if you're considering on upgrading from this to this. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.